Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am your host, Bob Hickey, and I thank you for taking the time to join with me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. And it seems like just yesterday, but it's been a whole year, that we were talking about the annual Foxborough Cleanup Day. And I'm so blessed to be joined today by my two good friends, AJ Dooley. AJ, nice to see you again, and Tina Bellinger. Tina,
Thanks,
how are
Bob.
you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for taking the time to come in and share yet once again. I'm going to go through it real quickly. This is the 5th annual one already.
5th annual Cleanup Foxborough Day. Thanks to AJ and Jack Othelette, of course.
Well, you know, it always takes somebody with a great idea and then somebody with a little push to make it happen, and I think that's what happened here. So welcome aboard to picking up the baton, Tina.
Thank you.
From Jack, and AJ, of course, is The Rock. AJ Dooley, of course, with Dooley Disposal is our town. Am I allowed to say you are our town's official
preferred vendor.
Preferred vendor for waste, garbage, and dumpsters, and everything else that has to do with getting rid of the rubbish, right?
Correct.
Great.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, and the reason I go into this is because, you know, clearly Foxborough always says that we work off the backs of our volunteers, and, you know, as you know, on the school committee, and even we here at Foxborough Cable Access, it's a community effort, it's a team effort. And one of the things that nobody likes to talk about, but I guess has to be addressed every once in a while, is rubbish, garbage, and the way your community looks. And I remember, so I can't believe it's been 5 years, but it was 5 years ago that former editor of the Fox Reporter, longtime contributor, town historian, I don't need to give the resume, but Jack Othelette wrote an impassioned plea that we as a community needed to take better care of our town. And you really implored everybody to think of a solution. You're the one that thought of the solution. You created the annual, then it wasn't the annual, it was the first, Clean Up Foxborough Day.
Correct. Yeah.
So where have I missed anything, and why don't we just jump in right there?
You haven't missed anything. That was a Thursday morning 5 years ago. Got the Foxborough Reporter. I was sitting across the street right there, and I saw it. And the picture was actually taken in the corner over here in one of the alleyways. And I thought, who better than us? You know, we do the trash in the town. We have the resources. Let's fix the problem that we have.
Well, you know, it's interesting to say we have the resources. We, you, meaning that you have trucks and personnel, but picking up litter on the side of the street is not a private vendor's responsibility nor duty. So this goes way above and beyond. You've always, you know, been a bit humble and you deflect a lot, but I think it's part of my joy and my responsibility, actually, to point out to the community what a great service this is. So that first year when you picked it up, you kicked in all your employees, you kicked in all the trucks, you put in the tipping fees, you put in, you bought shirts, and this is a great shirt.
Safety shirts, hold it.
The safety shirts, thank you, Tina. Dooley Disposal Services, but then on the back, it should say something about the Foxborough Day, if I remember correctly, and it does. Foxborough, our town, our time, and you know, it's one of those things where you see these shirts around town, and for those of us who maybe don't pay enough attention, you wonder, all right, where did these come from? And so now you, my loyal followers of Foxborough Central, know exactly where these shirts come from. So from your vision, after reading the Thursday morning Foxborough Reporter 5 years ago, we now have the 5th annual Foxborough Clean Up Foxborough Day. I want to make sure I get this right. So before we go any further, I want to dump a little information out to my friends out here. If you want to participate, it is on Saturday, April
29th.
29th. Saturday, April 29th. What time does it start?
8 a.m. to noon.
8 a.m. to noon. And it doesn't always stop at noon, because I remember last year there was a lot of music and cheering coming from the Grove. Is that what we call it?
The Schneider Grove.
The Schneider Grove.
Right at the end of Bird Street and Railroad Ave.
So there's plenty of parking.
Plenty of parking.
And that's
Thanks
really
to the Schneider Electric people. They open up their parking lot. They let us use their Grove. We're very lucky and fortunate to have their permission to use that location. It's a great location.
Permission and partnership, and that's what it's all about. So that's the jumping off spot.
Right.
So at 8 o'clock in the morning, you should show up earlier than 8 o'clock, because 8 o'clock is actually when we're going to go. People should come and they register. Is there pre-registration?
There is pre-registration. If you go to www.cleanupfoxboroughday.org, you can register, or you can call me and give me your name and T-shirt size and email, and I will register you myself if that's the case. My number is 508-543-7487.
And of course, you are Tina Bellinger, and you are one of our 5 elected members of the school committee.
That is true too.
You've also done a lot of fundraising and been a Scout parent, and you've done so much more. How did you get involved with Cleanup Day?
Well, being a Scout parent, actually, I thought this was just wonderful that AJ would step up and that we would have a whole town-wide cleanup day. I'd done other cleanups, like playground cleanups at the Taylor School, and different cleanups with the Scouts. You do a lot of community service and volunteer or volunteer opportunities, but this was just, I thought, a great opportunity because everybody, young and old, can participate. And so a couple years running, I got a large group from Troop 7 to help with the cleanup. And then Jack contacted me 3 years ago and said, would you like to be on our committee? Because it had gotten so big, they really needed someone else to handle registration. And AJ was very generous with his time and his employees, but his business was growing within the town. And so Jack asked me, and I was happy to say yes, that I could handle this. The registration portion of it, and so he had me nominated to be appointed on the Cleanup Foxborough Day Committee, and I'm happy to do it.
You got voluntold.
Yes, pretty much.
So let just be a lesson. If you make eye contact in this town, good things will happen, and your talents will be put to good use. So as a resource now, you come in and you're now leading the registration, so people can, again, pre-register by logging on to www.cleanupfoxboroughday.org. Foxborough spelled the company way, not with the UGG. So cleanupfoxboroughday.org, or you can call Tina Bellinger at 508-543-7487. Want to make it clear, and I do this partly in jest, but in serious, do not call her for a dumpster or to arrange. You need to call Dooley Disposal. That is where, and their offices are on Main Street. Great to work with. I'm a customer. I'm very happy with my service, which has nothing to do with this program other than the fact that this is all a big community feel-good day, and the companies that support this are ones that we should be supporting. So let's get into that. Sponsorships every year, it seems to get bigger and bigger. Where are we at with sponsorships? Is anybody supporting you this year?
We have a long list of sponsors.
Yeah, we have all the same people that are stepping up, that have stepped up in the past. The food is bought by Jake and Joe's. They buy all the hamburgers, the hot dogs, all the condiments, the buns, and all that stuff.
Because there's a real party environment at the end. People are going to work hard for 3.5 to 4 hours. You're going to pick up, you're assigned a route, and you go out with a team, correct?
Correct.
And so it's very safe, it's very organized, and your trucks come around, they pick up the work, the bags that are filled. So, and if you have a group, I assume your group can stay together?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
So if I'm coming out there,
we'll tell you where to go and what to do if you need direction. But if you simply come up to us and say, hey, we'd like to take care of our neighborhood, we just note that neighborhood, we send you on your way, and we go by and we pick it up afterwards.
And the goal is to get the whole town covered. So if and a lot of people do register and say, I'd like to clean up on Mill Street, or whatever area of town they live in, or do like the Scouts like to clean up around the Bethany where their meetings are held. So they just let Steve, who hands out the routes, know where they prefer to clean up, and it really works out very well. It's a good division of labor in town.
I was just going to point out, some people say, well, why don't we just go out and clean up on our own? It's actually very important that you do register, because this is a town-wide effort. And the worst thing that would happen would be, say your neighborhood chooses just to do it on your own, and then your team sends out a team of volunteers to go out and duplicate their work. So it's very easy to register. It's very easy to get involved. There's not a cost other than your time and talent. So again, log on to www.cleanupfoxboroughday.org. So let's go through some of the, and if I remember correctly, last year there's a lot of music, and so the hamburgers and the hot dogs, they happen. Party environment, music, tent, fun day. We already know the weather's going to be great. I mean, we know that for sure. And you have a DJ.
It will be rain or shine, though, because we are tough people here in Foxborough, and a little rain is not going to stop us from cleaning up our town.
Very important.
Rain or shine.
Note. Good. Rain or shine, be there or be there. So who else is supporting you this year?
So you mentioned that we'll have a DJ. Paul Feeney will be doing the DJing for us. Former selectman.
Yes.
I spoke to him actually today, and
good
he
friend,
confirmed
good man,
that
community giver, very good.
I mentioned who Jake and Joe's takes care of the food. A big part of the day is who's going to cook the food. The Foxborough Fish and Game. Usually about 10 to 15 of those guys donate their time. They come down, they cook, they take care of everything. They make it very non-stressful for us. It's one less thing that we have to worry about. I actually get a large grill donated from the Foxborough firefighters. They have a large grill that they donate. That helps. In the morning at registration, we have Dunkin' Donuts on Main Street across from Dairy Queen. They donate donuts, coffee. The Stop and Shop on Main Street donates waters, bananas, oranges, stuff like that. Also for the morning, and soda and stuff in water for the lunch. I'm looking at my cheat sheet.
Fantastic. So really what we're saying is that if we come out there with the family, with the kids, they will be fed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
Yep. Going to be fed and well hydrated.
Okay, and are there also raffles?
Yes, there are. Yep. So this year there'll be, in like the past years, there'll be Patriots tickets that'll be raffled off, and there'll also be Red Sox tickets that'll be raffled off.
Okay, great.
And, yeah.
And who's donating those?
As of right now, we have people who have donated them. We're hoping for a few more, but we'll see.
Okay then, excellent. So we have also, really, what if, let's flip it around from a user standpoint. What if I'm living in an area of town and I know that people are doing some bad dumping or there's just a big mess? Should people contact www.cleanupfoxboroughday.org and say, hey, we got a real mess down here. This would be a great target area.
Absolutely. We make a note of it, and I let Steve know that we need help in a certain area.
Who is this Steve of whom we speak?
I'm sorry, Steve.
Steve is Steve Callahan.
Yeah, sorry.
He's been with me for 12 years. I joke and say he's my right hand and my left hand at times. So,
well, Steve, if you're going to be the left and right at AJ, at least we're going to give you a shout out so you can get some proper recognition and respect. So
and people do call and say, it's really bad over by such and such a neighborhood, and it is helpful. It is helpful for people to register in advance because we really do need to know how many, small, mediums, larges, extra larges,
for the
large for the T-shirts.
So you're saying everybody gets a T-shirt?
Everyone who volunteers, it's a safety precaution too. We really want everyone to wear the T-shirts so they're visible when they're by the side of the road. They get the T-shirts, they get gloves to wear, and they get trash bags, and they just fill the bags, tie them up, and leave them by the side of the road. It could not be easier to take
The
care
gloves and the bags are donated by Supreme Industrial Products. That's Larry Stern's company, another Foxborough
very
guy.
generous.
He donates all the gloves, bags, and then we get the tents and the chairs donated from Differ Rentals on Chestnut Street.
Okay, that's fantastic.
And the porta potties.
And the porta potties
Very
from
important.
United Rentals.
Excellent. You've got a list there.
Cheat sheet.
See, I don't have a cheat sheet. I don't have a list. Who else is on there? We've got Schneider Electric, the Craft Group, AJ Dooley, Jake and Joe's, Foxborough Fishing Games. Ice. We can't forget the ice from the Oil Man Incorporated.
He gives us big, I think they're like 20-pound bags of ice. He donates as much ice as we need. So, yeah, it all comes together great, and we couldn't do it without everyone. But the most important is the volunteer of the people. I mean, it's all about getting the numbers out there and covering as much ground as possible. That's what truly makes this a great event.
And that's key why we're here. We want to be very clear. It's up to you folks to come out and be a part of the Clean Up Foxborough Day, which is going to be on Saturday. I'm looking at my notes. Saturday, April 29th, beginning at 8 a.m. Show up a little early. Make sure you get the best shirt. They're all going to be good shirts. They're going to be a pretty cool color this year, aren't they?
Yeah, still haven't, I got it narrowed down to three.
Okay,
three or four. There's 3 or 4 colors.
So clearly a lot of work is going into this. So to support them, why don't you come out and support yourself, support your town, support Foxborough, and be part of Foxborough Cleanup Day. We're almost running out of time. I'm going to give you both the last word, but I also want to remind everybody you can pre-register at www.cleanupfoxboroughday.org or call Tina Bellinger for a little extra help at 508-543-7487. Groups are welcome and encouraged, and you should let them know. Tina.
If you can't be there at 8 o'clock, that's fine. You can show up anytime, and we will give you a T-shirt and send you out on a route. If you don't pre-register and you decide that morning you want to help out, that's okay too. Pre-registration is preferred because it does help us, determine
Yep.
how much food, how many shirts, etc. But if you haven't registered and you want to show up, please do. If you can't be there at 8, come at 9, come at 10. You can always help.
Your assistance is greatly appreciated,
Absolutely.
I'm sure. So it's actually a great note for folks who maybe plans change and think maybe they won't be
Yes.
welcomed. They will be welcomed.
Absolutely.
AJ, I always give you the last word since you're the one who has really put this together and puts up so much of your time, resources, and capital to make this a great event every year. What can we do further to help spread the word?
I would say the biggest thing is, and I put it on the shirt a few years ago, it's our town, it's our town, it's our time. That's the motto that I like with this.
It's a great motto.
If you go out and you clean up, if you fill 3 bags up, it's not going to take you more than a half hour. You'd be surprised how quickly a bag fills up, and it just makes such a difference. And that's what I have to say. Our town, our time.
Fantastic, AJ. Thank you so
That's
much for
great.
coming in. And again, our town, our time. And frankly, if you take a little bit of time, it's going to make a much better town for all of us. So on behalf of all the volunteers here at Foxborough Cable Access, we encourage you to go out to the Clean Up Foxborough Day. Again, you can register at www.cleanupfoxboroughday.org. You can call Tina Bellinger at 508-543-7487, or you can just show up day of. Really make a difference. It's what makes Foxborough a great town, is the way we all pitch in. Clearly, this has been a successful event the last 4 years. Let's make number 5 the best one ever. On behalf of all of us here at Foxborough Cable Access, Betty Travers behind the camera, Deb Storrs behind the camera, Paul Beck behind the glass, Jillian Larson, who edits us all together, Lauren Batar, who allows us on the air, and Michael Weber, who makes sure that we all do get on the air. I'm Bob Hickey, your host, and I thank you for taking the time to learn about Foxborough Cleanup Day, 5th annual. Hope to see you there. Take care, everybody.